Hey there, so I wanted to do a quick video on the burn function, or like the difference between the supply and the stake principle for some of these pool tokens. So Naeem, shout out to you for requesting this video. I think it's a really kind of interesting functionality in the pool staking contracts that MAXI, Deci and the rest have. So just to give you a bit of an overview of what I'm talking about here, on the Look into MAXI site you can see HEX stake principal. This is how much HEX was initially pulled together. A bunch of people don't know each other, all put in HEX, and this is the total amounts for each, right? So for MAXI you can see it's around 290 million HEX that was pulled together, and that was how much there was when the stake started, right, on day one. Now, if we scroll down, we see the token supply today. It's actually lower. It's 274 million or so. So around 20 million tokens are no longer in the supply, and that's because they were burnt. And there is a burn, and it wasn't sent to the contract address, just kind of like a dead address. It was actually burnt, and they no longer exist, so the total supply is less for MAXI. Now the interesting thing is, for the other tokens we haven't had any burn on the supply, so the full amount of HEX that was staked, that's still kind of represented in the token supply, apart from base, which has restaked now, so it's a bit of a different calculation there. But if we look at the burn, there is a bit of a section down here. So supply burnt, MAXI has about a 7% burn of its original supply. 7% is now gone. And why is that important? So just want to show you these slides. So when the stake started, we had a certain amount of HEX, and that was equal to 274 million MAXI tokens. Now fast forward 15 years, the stake has grown. You have the principal, now you have also the interest, so the stake is much larger. That has to be divvied up among all the MAXI holders in some way, and the elegant solution that MAXI has done this with is it doesn't really assign each person's MAXI holdings a certain amount of HEX or track that or anything like that. It just logs how it checks at the end of the stake. It checks what the total supply is of MAXI, what the total interest plus principal is in the stake that's ready to be claimed, and it divides that all up among the MAXI supply holders, right? So it calculates how much one MAXI is now worth in HEX terms, and it gives you your fair share, right? So the interesting thing with this is that if the supply decreases, that function still works properly. It's just that you get more HEX than you would have got if people hadn't burnt their MAXI. So, I've kind of over-exaggerated this here, but this supply amount of MAXI can go down a lot, right? So say the entire supply of MAXI was burnt except for one MAXI, like take the extreme case, right? So that one MAXI is now able to redeem the entire stake principal plus yield, which is kind of crazy, right? So we're not going to get that extreme case, most likely, but you can see even if the supply goes down to like 100 million, that's like a 3x reduction in supply. And what that means is you're going to get 3 times the amount of rewards than if there was no burn, right? So this burn does have an effect. So what does this 6.72% burn mean for you? Well, if you hold MAXI, it means you're getting a 7.2% more T-shares, which is pretty cool. So That's why people like to refer to this as kind of like a virtual airdrop, because yeah, you don't really experience a taxable event, not tax advice, but you don't experience like a real airdrop of value. It's something which is just like you just get more at the end because of the burn, which is really, really cool. I think there's functionality, like the mystery box has Maxi. It could do cool airdrop stuff in the future. The Hedron deployer burnt a bunch of Maxi, I think 1 million tokens or something. And then also there was like the team 1-for-1 Maxi redeem, which burnt a percentage of Maxi, 20% or so. So yeah, there's like different mechanics which can make this end supply of Maxi smaller, and any holders will experience from like a slow increase and like, oh, okay, now I have more of the total supply. So the important thing to mention is that, say this is your holdings, this is the total supply, your size relative to the total supply does increase as the total supply decreases. You don't lose any tokens when someone else burns, right? So yeah, just that's something worth noting. Okay, so I hope that explains that a bit better, and yeah, it will be interesting to see how this number increases over time, or whether it stays the same. I have, yeah, for quite a while I've had this number baked into all of the stats. So whenever we're looking at supply numbers, I'm using the new supply without the burnt coins, right? So any APYs for Maxi, any other calculations, they will be slightly higher than they should be if those coins hadn't been burnt. So I hope that's helpful.